Hello everyone! It's me again, Teacher Joanne. This tutorial is for Statistics and Probability, a subject which is intended for grade 11 senior high school students in the Philippines. For today's objectives, at the end of the lesson, the learners will be able to illustrate null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, level of significance, rejection region, and types of errors in hypothesis testing. Identifies the parameters to be tested given a real-life problem. For today's topic, we have hypothesis testing, and we'll be discussing types of hypothesis, rejection region, and types of errors. So let's define some terms first. So we have hypothesis. So what is a hypothesis? So it is a statement or a tentative theory that may or may not be true, but is initially assumed to be true until new evidence suggests otherwise. It may be proposed from a preliminary observation, a guess, or based from previous experiences. It is also a statement about numerical value of a population parameter. Next, we have hypothesis testing. So what is a hypothesis testing? So it is a process of gathering evidences to either support or rebut a claim or conjecture known as the hypothesis. There are two kinds of hypotheses. So one is the null hypothesis denoted by HO, and then we have the alternative hypothesis denoted by HA. So a null hypothesis is a statement that there is no difference between a parameter and a specific value. It is a claim that denotes absence, such as absence of difference, absence of relationship, or equality to a certain value, and the like. It is usually comes with an equality symbol when written. Next, we have the alternative hypothesis. So it is the opposite or negation of the null hypothesis. It is a statement that there exists a difference between a parameter and a specific value. So it is a claim that denotes presence, such as presence of difference, presence of relationship, or inequality to a certain value, and the like. It is usually denoted with the symbol not equal to, less than, and greater than. So we have types of tests. So we have the one-sided test. So in a one-sided test, alternative hypothesis specifies that the unknown population parameter is entirely above or entirely below the specified value of the null hypothesis. It is also called one-tailed or directional test. For example, so we have for the null hypothesis, we have mean equals 100. For its alternative, we have mean is less than 100. Next, we have null hypothesis, mean is equal to 100. For alternative hypothesis, mean is greater than 100. So next we have null and alternative hypothesis statements. First, we have the one-sided test below. So null hypothesis, the average time teenagers aged 13 to 15 years old spent on social media is 2 hours. So in symbol, so mean equals 2. For the alternative hypothesis, the average time teenager aged 13 to 15 years old spent on social media is less than 2 hours. So that would be in symbol, mean is less than 2. Now for one-sided test above, so an example would be for null hypothesis, the average daily allowance of senior high school students in Dasmariñas Integrated High School is 150 pesos. So in symbol, mean equals 150. For the alternative hypothesis, so the average daily allowance of senior high school students in Dasmariñas Integrated High School is more than 150 pesos. So in symbol, mean is greater than 150. So next type of test is the two-sided test. So the alternative hypothesis specifies that the unknown population parameter can lie on either side of the value specified by the null hypothesis. It is called two-tailed or non-directional test. So example would be, so for single population, we have mean equals 100 for the null hypothesis. For the alternative hypothesis, we have mean is not equal to 100. For two population, we can say that mean of the first population is equal to the mean of the second population for the null hypothesis. And for the alternative hypothesis, we can say that the mean of the first population minus the mean of the second population is not equal to 0. So these are the example statements for two-sided test single population. So for the null hypothesis, the average monthly electric bill of households in Cavite is 1,500. So in symbol, mean is equal to 1,500. For our alternative hypothesis, the average monthly electric bill of households in Cavite is not equal to 1,500 pesos. Or in symbol, mean is not equal to 1,500. Then for two-sided tests showing two population, so we have the null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the average life of brand A and brand B batteries. So in symbol, so mean of brand A is equal to mean of brand B. Then we have the alternative hypothesis, so there is a significant difference between the average life of brand A and brand B batteries. So in symbol, mean of brand A is not equal to mean of brand B. Next, we have the type of errors. So type 1 error and type 2 error. So type 1 error usually committed if the null hypothesis is rejected when it is true. And type 2 error is committed if the null hypothesis is accepted when it is false. Next, we have level of significance. So the probability of committing type 1 error is denoted by alpha. And the probability of committing type 2 error is denoted by beta, which is 1 minus alpha. So critical region. What is a critical region? So sample the set of all values of the test statistic that would cause to reject the null hypothesis. Sample for one-sided test above. So here's a graph to represent it. So we have the critical value 1.65, so that's for alpha, equivalent to 0.05. So for the rejection region, anything that is to the right of 1.65 or equal to 1.65 would be rejected. And the do not reject region is have a probability of 95%. So anything to the left of the critical value would be accepted. So next we have one-sided test below. So here's how it looks like. So we have the region of rejection, probability is 0.05. So critical value is negative 1.65. So anything to the left of negative 1.65 would be rejected. And anything to the right of negative 1.65 is on the do not reject region, which has the probability of 95%. Then next we have is for two-sided test. So we still have alpha, which is 0.05. So probability of getting rejected on the left side is 0.025. On the right side is 0.025. That is the rejection region. For the critical value, so we have the positive and negative 1.96. So anything to the right of 1.96 and anything to the left of negative 1.96 is the rejection region. So any value for that would be rejected. And for the do not reject region, that is on the middle. So anything between positive and negative 1.96 would be accepted. So let's check what have we learned for this topic. Identify the term as in each of the following items. Number 1. It is a statement or a tentative theory that may or may not be true, but is initially assumed to be true until new evidence suggests otherwise. Number 2. It is a statement that there is no difference between a parameter and a specific value. Number 3. It is a statement that there exists a difference between a parameter and a specific value. Number 4. Usually committed if the null hypothesis is accepted when the null hypothesis is false. And number 5. Usually committed if the null hypothesis is rejected when the null hypothesis is true. So now let us check your answers. Number 1 is hypothesis. Number 2 is null hypothesis. Number 3 is alternative hypothesis. Number 4 is type 2 error. And number 5 is type 1 error. I hope you got all the correct answers, and congratulations. So we're done for today, and thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot, and see you in our next lesson. Bye!